So what's your actual position?
Again, with the society that we're in right now, the pressures, the media, everything that women are brought up with, I think there is a pressure for them to sleep with men a lot younger now as well. So to say to a woman, you're not worth as much because you have a high body count, it's not fair on her that she can't change that. And if she goes, you know what, I'm a born-again Christian and I want one man for the rest of my life and I regret everything I did in my past, then, like, good on her, and it shouldn't matter, and I would never judge her for that. But that's just one example and one religion she could go down. It could be another one.
Wait, so because she can't change it, then she should be forgiven for it. Is that your position?
If she has like a regret for it and real remorse, and she's like, God, I really wish I hadn't done that, then I'm gonna be like, yeah.
In response to your body count objection, I always find it interesting because women have an issue with a lot of things that hold them accountable. And I say all the time, women are they just don't like anything that's disadvantageous to them. And when it comes to body count, you're essentially holding a woman accountable. So in what world does quantifiable history not matter? Credit score matters, school transcripts matters, because these things indicate your patterns of behavior, or they tell a story about what you did in the past and what you're more likely to do in the future. So I guess my question is, why do y'all have an issue with the fact that men don't want women who have a higher body count? What's the issue with that?
I don't personally have an issue with it. Again, I'm just more of like, that's my personal preference.
Accountability donated $69. My friend Pacey'd. 3 days later, while celebrating his life, the GF asked me to sleep with her that night.
Whoa.
I was sick. If it helps women not feel negative emotions, any action permissible?
Damn, that's crazy. Accountability. Shit.
That's wild. Okay, to answer your question, I don't care what someone's body count is, male or female. If you say, I don't want a woman who slept with more than 10 people, I'm not going to judge you. That's what you want. That's fine. I just think that if a woman maybe was in the industry, and then she comes out of it and she's like, I really wish I hadn't done that, and there's remorse. I'm not saying you should forgive her. I'm just saying that and it's not even a forgiving thing. It's like, okay, if you regret it, then that's okay. That's good in a way.
But but we're talking about dating here, so it seems to me like you're saying that men should perhaps consider overlooking it.
I think in rare cases.
I think she's saying that I think she's saying that if a woman decides to change and she decides to move her life in a new direction, then her actions and what she did in the past, if a man chooses not to forgive her, that's his prerogative. And that's perfectly okay. But it doesn't mean that she is as a whole 100% unforgivable. Yeah. Somebody can still love her. Somebody can still love her.
I don't consider it a matter of forgiveness. I just consider it a matter of risk assessment. Because of course
she should take accountability and own it.
Of course people can change, but is there anything about this woman's tendencies to behave in certain ways in the past that may come up in our relationship? Will she potentially revert back to her old ways with me?
And if
will she cheat on me?
It depends. If she did that while she was in a relationship, or if she was just single for a long time. If she has history of cheating, then sure, I would think that as a man, considering her to be in a relationship, why he would feel that she could repeat those patterns. I think promiscuity in any shape, way, or form is not good. But I think to her point was that if a woman does decide to have a recourse and completely change her life, then we're just saying as a whole, she can still be deserving of a good man.
Yeah.
And what if I told you that was me? What if I told you that my body count was well above 25, well above 50, and I have found someone who has accepted me for the fact that I have done professional porn, for the fact that I have done OnlyFans? That does not diminish my value. My body count does not diminish what I am able to provide outside of that. So I am that woman that y'all are speaking of, and I am deserving of love. And I have found someone who is going to accept me for who I am and accept my past and look beyond that, because they themselves have had their fair share of things.
But he's in the industry too, right? Or he was.
Now we're done. Now we're exclusive.
Oh, well, that's
So he
easier
probably
because-
understands,
But really, if the body count is a concern for you, then to that extreme, then you shouldn't even consider that woman. Just move on, go to
Find a
another one.
woman in your wheelhouse.
Sure.
And that's why I said in
Yeah.
the beginning of a relationship,
But-
make sure your core values are exactly the same or very close.
But I think the thing when it comes to the body count thing is that a lot of women want to give pushback instead of saying, oh, hey, that's just your preference. You're entitled to your preference. Then they want to start shaming men for those preferences by saying you're insecure or
She shouldn't do that.
even.
No, I'm not
Yeah, a
saying
lot of women will
But they
say
do. That's why it's a
that's
conversation.
insecure. Why should you care about body count? It's in her past. The past doesn't matter. Then you start trying to make argumentation for it. That's when men are going to provide counter argumentation and say, well, actually, here's A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. Here's the reasons why it's no, men shouldn't. And I think, I honestly, for like on an individual level, if you want to, like as a woman, you want to do it, don't really give a fuck. I mean, I don't think it's a great way to move, but like, if I'm going to give advice to a guy, I think it's suboptimal to date a woman with a promiscuous past or who has a high body count.
I think accountability is
That's it, though.
extremely important. Everybody should take accountability. Like if a man was in a relationship with a woman and cheated on her, I think he should tell his new girlfriend that he cheated on his ex. And I think everybody should take accountability for what they've done.
Right.
Because you need to have that.
And body count's allowed to be a preference, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a preference.
It could,
but
yeah.
But
why are you talking about the people you slept with in your new I think if it's one person or two people.
Some people value that.
Some people
Men
do value
that.
it. I just say the pushback, I think, in general is just like starting off a conversation. Like, I want to know all the people you slept with. Or it was
Well, it
this
doesn't
one.
happen like that necessarily.
It
It
could.
usually, it could happen,
think
but
if you're-
sometimes I think when
First
you get
date,
deep
what's your
into
body count?
a relationship with somebody, like I would tell the person that I'm like actually considering being in a relationship with, like, this is my body count, if it
Shit.
comes up.
Let me
If
let
he
me
asks
make this
me.
interesting. I think it's totally fine. The guy on the first date, within 10 minutes of meeting you, he can ask you what your body count is.
I don't
No
want to know
problems
his.
with that.
I don't want to know
No
what
problems
I'm
with that.
with.
And you guys might object to it. You might think it's not like smooth or whatever. It's a bit like kind of
Unromantic.
Depends on
socially
how into
socially
him I am.
uncalibrated.
In today's climate, I mean, I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
Bro,
I'm not
if
ashamed of
it's a
mine,
deal
so.
breaker for me, wouldn't you rather, instead of me like, doing the socially the socially calibrated thing, wouldn't you rather, if it's a deal breaker for me, just ask you up front as soon as possible?
Yeah, but
if it's a deal breaker, I ask it. If it's over the body count, I could be like, oh, hey, listen, it was really nice meeting you.
You want to do that immediately?
And also, you don't wanna-
Would you do that immediately?
you don't wanna
Like,
waste
if you
your
want a date
time.
and she
Bro,
tell
I
you her
might-
body count?
even before, bro, I'll ask before the date.
I think I just think it's bad form to be asking about a person's sexual past. If that's your preference and you want a woman with a low body count, I think there's ways to ask about it.
I'll tell you this much, right? If she has a low body count, she's probably not going to object to answering the question because she's not
Ashamed of it.
embarrassed
Yeah.
of her low body count.
Yeah.
If she has a high body count, I don't want to date her anyways. If she feels a certain type of way
They're
about
the ones
me
that
being
have the issues and
socially
arguments.
retarded,
Yeah.
fine. Don't
I
care.
agree with that.
You don't ask.
Don't
her.
care.
Marry Me Maybe donated $69.
Ooh.
Lady Welsh, I have never heard a voice that's soothing. I feel at peace when you speak.
Do you know how to do ASMR?
Oh, wow.
Maybe she's got an ASMR voice. I don't know.
what to say.
Say,
Very
I'm
nice of you.
flattered.
Body count.
I'm so flattered.
She's so flattered.
So going around the table really quick, do you object to men caring about a woman's body count?
If it's coming from a place of judgment, yes.
How about it's coming from a place of I'm trying to qualify or disqualify this person from as potential partner?
That's judgment.
Oh, okay. Is it?
I thought
Or is it
judgment-
discernment?
Yeah.
Okay. It is discernment, but also judgment. Because you are therefore like, okay, she has been with 10 plus men. I am judging these past actions, and I am choosing to see that as a high risk person.
But when y'all say judgment, do you mean, you're a bad person? Because we're not saying you're a bad person for it. When women say judge, they often mean.
But when you say suboptimal,
Make
that
value.
is judgment.
But the
What's
best
wrong
way
with-
to predict future is to look at past. Look
Are
at
there?
patterns.
Let me ask you a question on
So
the
ask
sub.
their
Let me
sexual
ask you a
partner.
question. Stop. Let me ask you a question on the suboptimal thing. Right? Is it possible for a man in any realm to be a suboptimal partner in certain realms that women will assess a guy on?
Sure.
Like all the Bumble dates you passed, all the Bumble profiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was judgment, wasn't it?
There was judgment.
Ah,
But I don't want to be with someone who's going to judge me based off of that. I want you to judge me based on how I'm interacting with you, how I receive
How
you.
tall are you?
5'7".
Would you date a guy who's 5'4"?
Sure. If you
Sure,
fulfilled me
sure.
in the ways
Would
that
you
I
prefer-
needed,
What would those ways be?
emotionally, physically,
What are the other ways?
sexually.
Okay, what if a guy was not so great in bed, and let's say he's suboptimal in bed? Would you still date him?
I'm a sexual person. That's something that I need fulfilled. And if he is not able to fulfill that, then it's a no.
And I'm a man who prefers women with a low body count, and if she's not able to fulfill that, then it's a no.
Okay.
Disagree to disagree.
Just preferences.
Yeah.
It's honestly a preference.
But why is it okay for women to disqualify men based on he's suboptimal, his height's suboptimal, his looks are suboptimal?
I don't call men suboptimal. I say either you check my
Suboptimal isn't
boxes,
an
you
offensive
fulfill
term.
me, or you don't.
Again,
But
with
this is
the
a matter
words,
of
Ryan.
language.
Remember, we're women. Like, words are a big thing with us.
right. Let's go with behavior.
But suboptimal is a
Let's go
totally
with
benign
So-
term.
Not when it comes to dating.
It
This is
Yeah.
has a
I'll have
neutral
us back in
connotation.
this. Yeah,
It's
that's
not
fine.
like positive or negative.
Suboptimal seems so.
Suboptimal is
Benign.
absolutely benign.
Yeah, it's a neutral connotation.
Yeah, I don't think there's any.
There's nothing positive or negative about it.
Yeah,
Just suboptimal.
Suboptimal, yeah.
It's just suboptimal.
suboptimal.
Yeah.
It's you can
Women in words.
it's like
Women in words.
there's nothing
Hey, at
wrong.
least we're not.
Like there's
talking
nothing
about
wrong
your
with a
tone.
guy who likes blondes. There's nothing wrong with a guy who likes brunettes. Like there's nothing wrong with it.
I think she made a point earlier that it's important in the beginning to meet someone who has the same role standing as you and ticks
Okay.
those boxes.